A nation in distress on the account of insecurity, and the quest for peace continues everywhere, and we have to do our own bit too. On that note, I welcome you to our program, Violence-Free World. My name is Kali Ikwe, and we have a very important guest in the house, but we'll return with the guest only after the special report. Be here. The spate of violence in Nigeria in recent times has manifested mostly as insurgency, banditry, killer headsmen, and kidnapping. Interestingly, while insurgency and banditry have been more prevalent in the northern part of Nigeria, the menace of killer headsmen and kidnappers pervades the entire spread of Nigeria. One disturbing dimension to the crisis is the issue of ethnic profiling as people struggle with the challenge of surmounting this scourge. Virtually all acts of kidnapping in Nigeria today are attributed to Fulani headsmen, just as farmers bemoan the invasion of their farmlands by the same group of people. There can be no denying that bad elements from among Fulani headsmen get involved with dastardly acts, but quite often too, people of other ethnicity have been caught red-handed, perpetuating same acts where they pose as Fulani headsmen. Aside from the disintegration such profiling portends, it is a major distraction from genuine effort to arrive at real solution to the spate of kidnapping, banditry, and other forms of violence. Interestingly, the quest for solutions to the challenge of incessant attacks on innocent citizens has led some people to suggest licensing of guns for private individuals. Proponents of private ownership of guns believe it gives citizens the power to fundamentally defend themselves in the face of attacks. However, there are perhaps much more people who believe guns in the hands of just anyone will only serve to compound an already bad situation. Rather than resolve the situation, gun violence would become the order of the day. Finally, accountability and sincerity of purpose on the part of the leadership remains critical to resolving the challenge of insecurity as we crave a violence-free Nigeria. Welcome back. Our guest in the house is Barth Nwabueze, a public affairs analyst. Barth, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now, Barth, in our quest to find solutions to our lingering situation of insecurity, finger pointing is now very high up there. And one of the most pronounced names in the conversation is Fulani headsmen. Before now, Fulani headsmen have always been here with us for a very, very long while. What is suddenly happening? Where did we get it wrong?
Well, that's matters of the moment now. But in reality, insecurity is a global thing. It's not just in Nigeria, it's not just in Africa. But that is where leadership comes in. How do you manage different things, different demands, different people within the place you're in charge of? All of a sudden, Fulani started coming up. People who hitherto lived peacefully with us suddenly became our enemies. Something happened along the line to bring about that issue. For us to look at this problem, we must get back a little bit to how we got it wrong and how we are where we are today. What roles did we play as a people to make it the way it is today? And what are we going to do to make it better? In a multi-ethnic society like Nigeria, where no reasonable attempt was made to bring the people together as one, each ethnic group is ethnically identified, is profiled distinctively. So if a crime is related to a particular group, you now use that word, Fulanese. We have a lot of Fulani gentlemen till tomorrow. We have a lot of even Fulani headers that till tomorrow will not touch a gun, not talk of killing people. But the reality is that when politics entered into this country, it came in different forms and brought the problem we are witnessing today. So we have to situate the major problem of Fulani headsmen crisis versus other Nigerians. We have to bring it to political perspective, because people said they paid some people to stop killing people. El-Rufai said that. You can't pay people you did not employ. So how did you get them? But that's a discussion for another time.
No, but sorry, if I want to take you back on that now, pay people you did not employ. You can pay because you actually want to buy freedom. It's the same thing like amnesty. When federal government says it's giving amnesty to people just so they can buy peace temporarily. Probably maybe that's what El-Rufai was referring to.
Well, he may have good intentions, but the reality is that they are not attacking you alone. You must carry the nation. You must carry us along.
So you mean that he stopped them from his enclave and then they moved somewhere else?
Not just that. If a crisis somewhere is a crisis everywhere.
Yes.
If you identify these people that these are the things they are doing, and you feel that this is the solution, you don't just take a unilateral decision and say you paid them. You bring it to national discourse. First and foremost, we need to identify these people. And who told you that paying them will be the solution? Who told you that after paying them that you've solved the problem? You can't act alone when you're talking of a nation, when you're in government and representing people. You know?
But you speak of this issue like you're not aware of the Niger Delta militancy issue and how paying these people to stay off violence for a while worked a bit. I don't know. Working is a relative term now. Yeah. Where it succeeded.
Beautiful.
I don't know how much you agree with that.
Beautiful. The then governor did not do that. It was the presidency. It was you bring that to national discourse.
Okay, now I get you now. You want it to come from the national
yes,
level.
so that problem, because that magnitude of militancy dropped considerably. It's not that it does not exist. But when amnesty was agreed upon, they had a buy-in into it. Nigeria has a buy-in. We weighed the options. It pays us better to give these people some stipend, let them allow us to take our oil, because oil is our mainstay. So in situations where you wake up and take a unilateral decision on security that involves everybody, then you know something you don't want others to know. That's my submission.
Okay, now, going forward, there's this thinking that the orchestrators of violence in Nigeria basically know what they are doing, and the rest of us are just playing a script that we know very little about. They keep us distracted, trying to accuse one another and even pitch one region against the other, or one tribe against the other, or one religion against the other. Why the looting or the money making? Do you share that line of thought? Are you some way like a corporate conspiracy thing that I've always talked about?
Well, you're not far from the truth, but that still calls for leadership. When you're representing a people, you must envisage all manners of problems. You must think ways. I'm not saying thinking out of the box. Think, get partner with people that will help you to think and tackle each problem as it comes, because it must come. No society that does not have one problem or the other. It may come in this form, come in the other form, because unfortunately for us, we were never blended as a people. We maintained our differences all through. That is the major problem Nigeria has. Because when I look at issues, sorry, I'm digressing a little bit.
No, that's all right. That's okay.
When America is a country of immigrants. Immigrants means that people from all over the world are in America. That's what they call American dream. American dream is there. What it says, nothing will stop you from being whatever you want to be, so long as you're pursuing a legitimate thing you want to be. That's why a black man could be president of America. They have a way to manage their differences without actually, stifling the system, because they find a way. They try to get people, get information, get advices. The new president in America today hired up to 4 Nigerians as his advisors. So I'm not saying that the president should do it alone. Leadership is a responsibility. If you're occupying that position, you must think of how to get people that will help you navigate through the murky waters of leadership. It's not always easy. So when we look at all these things, we say, okay, we are talking of insecurity. We are talking, how far have we gone to actually solve these problems? What have the government, the people we signed a social contract to protect us, the people we handed over our sovereignty to take control. Are they doing enough? Do they need help? At our own level too, are there things we can do to help? Have we been mobilized enough to help? Because these things go together. The presidency must have a way to mobilize me and you. A country like Singapore, we didn't know. We are talking about and clapping about Singapore. Singapore is made up of 75% Chinese. They have the Malays, they have so many other ethnic groups. But Lee Kuan Yew saw it at the beginning of formation of Singapore. I must unite people so that we can speak with one voice. We can have a common enemy. We're talking of Fulani headsmen. Are they enemy to some people? They are not. To some people, they are their friends. But in America today, if you're a terrorist, you're a terrorist. It does not matter on whose side you are. Some people may enjoy your terrorism, but if they say it openly, they'll be picked up by the system.
Now, in looking for solutions, some people feel that probably the nation, it's quite too big, too large, landmass and even people. We're a nation of over 200 million people already now. And you hear balkanization. Let's split into 3. Let's split into 100. But I said, look on. It doesn't look like 100 is even enough. 1,000 may not be enough. Is balkanization the way to go? Self-determination.
We are missing the point. The bigger, the better. Check out big economies. Check out China with a population of over 1.3 billion people. Check out India. It is not population can even be a big advantage. But we fail to harness the advantage. That's the reality. To keep dividing, we look at some countries. They say Cotonou here. They don't sound like countries to me sometimes. If we can even annex them to Nigeria, I think I'll prefer that. We need the bigger the better. It's just how do we find a way to pursue what we call Nigerian dream? How do we say? Because when we concentrate on our ethnic people to the disadvantage of other ethnic people, it does not favor any ethnic group. We must look at Nigeria from one angle. Each group has things to contribute. Leadership duty is to find a way to harness those things and not to stifle growth. So I do not support further division of organization or self-determination. But certain things lead to those agitations. So government must look at those things and find a way to address them.
Okay, maybe balkanization is a no-no for you.
Yeah.
But probably maybe licensing of private individuals who own guns would probably help. But that will be the conversation when we return after this break. Okay. This is Violence Free World. We'll continue with the conversation in a bit. Be here. Welcome back. This is Steve Violence Free World, and my guest in the house remains Barth Nwabueze, a public affairs analyst. Before we went on the break, we hinted at having you shed light on this issue of gun licensing. The governors of Taraba State and Benue State at different fora hinted recently that maybe if individuals are allowed to carry arms, it just may help in checking the spread of violence, so that you at least you have the capacity to first fundamentally defend yourself. What's your take on this?
Well, licensing of guns to private individuals is not a new thing. We've had such things in the past. It's not just anybody. You'll be profiled, and if you qualify, you get one. But what I guess the governors are saying today, Governor of Taraba and Benue precisely, I think they are just reacting to the insecurity in the system. And sometimes when you react under passion, you take wrong steps. Sometimes you create bigger problems than the one you intend to solve. You don't have to, because people, Fulani men, headsmen, bandits or whatever they are, carry AK-47, you allow people to carry such lethal weapons. No, you don't. You're creating a bigger problem. Why we are having problems today is proliferation of guns already. Illegally acquired guns, and now you want to now put it in people's hands to do what? Defend themselves? Are they gunmen? What they should be thinking of is, I've looked at Nigeria. The Police Act, the police is only the National Assembly that can actually legislate on police and how to police an area. All the states that are under attack of gunmen, they have senators, they have House of Rep members. They should push them to go to National Assembly and make serious case for state police. Because from what is going on today, the federal police is overwhelmed. Not just being overwhelmed, they are not enough to take care of. There are so many unsecured spaces in the country. They try to sometimes concentrate on urban areas. There are so many areas, so many communities, which if community policing comes into effect, people from within a locality can take care of their security issues. With that, if a stranger comes in, he'll be picked up before he commits any crime. It doesn't mean that it has solved the problem. It may create its own problem, but I think it's better to have an organized group than to say, let me arm individuals. What if they use those guns to go into robbery, or to go to at the slightest provocation, somebody uses a gun and kills somebody?
So when you say organized group like Amotekun, as I'm having the Eastern Security Network, as it is, etc. Is that what you mean?
No. The Amotekun actually, they try to give it a kind of legalistic approach. I'm talking of legislating and allowing states to create their own police. All they need to do is to talk to their representatives, put pressure on them. Because the states that are complaining now have increased. So they must form quorum. They must have a bigger number in National Assembly to push for this case. That's the point I'm trying to make. Because we have illegal people carrying arms. You want to now solve that problem by arming people, whether they are armed robbers or kidnappers, you give them, you assign out guns to them. When things change, how do you retrieve the guns from them? Somebody said he brought in people from Sahel region to Nigeria, and he paid them. After paying them, did they leave? They've not left. If they've left, we wouldn't have this problem. So if people see crime as a way of life, you don't just wish away, we are okay, Fulani, headsmen, they've gone, bring back your gun. They wish it on you too. Impoverished population, people who don't have jobs. A lot of young men are roaming around the streets without jobs. You give them guns to protect you. When they've not eaten, they will use that gun to fend for themselves. So we shouldn't create a bigger problem trying to solve this problem we have today. It must be a formalized group that stakeholders will come together to put together. They'll have laws, rules and regulations. And it must be made open that if there are infractions, federal police could be invited to take care of the infraction. So they must have checks and balances. It must be sustainable. The state must find a way to pay them. It's not arming people, giving them uniform, and you don't pay them. The same crisis we are having will even double.
You see, Barth, we've always had this issue of the genuine commitment by our leaders. And somehow, the national cake issue always come in. Certain people feel more entitled to certain positions, national positions, here and there. That's why you see, I hinted at corporate conspiracy as to why some people instigate this violence just so they can push forward some agenda. Now, there are 3 dominant tribes here that keep haggling over positions to the neglect of others. There are many other tribes in Nigeria. What becomes of those ones? Is this fair?
Can I come in? You said to the neglect of others.
Yes.
To the neglect of everybody. The North has produced more heads of state and presidents than any other part of this country. But it's one of the most impoverished parts of the country. So what gain have they made?
So it's not just about the leadership. It's not just about being army chief of staff or whatever it is.
Those things they are immaterial. The system has to work. It's a systemic thing. It does not matter if president comes from wherever, it doesn't matter. I've been to virtually every northern state. The level of poverty I saw there, the level of ignorance I saw there. I said, if this is what happens to states that produce president, may my state never produce it. Those are the realities. We have to look at the fundamentals. We have fundamental issues. The foundation of the country is faulty. That's why people are talking about restructuring. We have to go down to the basics. Even if you bring the best person in a very bad system, he won't go far. He's working at cross purposes with everybody.
Okay, right. Going forward now, something like what had happened to us late last year, 2020, when the youth of the nation, supposedly lazy youth, stood up. Were not actually lazy. Now, they gave their terms. They spoke to the extent the president responded. I've heard you loud and clear. And that was some kind of rattling to some people that, well, it looks like a paradigm shift is here after all. These young people have made the announcement and then gone back to sleep, or so it seemed. Do you foresee any major shift, this paradigm shift come by 2023?
Based on the NSAS thing, that's what you're referring to.
Yes.
First and foremost, it ought not to have even happened if those youths are gainfully employed. What the youths displayed was discontentment, disconnection, failure for the system to meet their expectations. The expectations of Nigerian youths are not much. If you come out from school, the system ought to provide you with an enabling environment to get a job and take care of yourself and your family. It was a reaction, spontaneous reaction. But government, the way they handled it is like they still brought some other youth somewhere because they brought some people that quelled these things, at least in Abuja.
To counter it, you mean?
Counter it, exactly.
Okay.
So that brings to the fore that reality of our differences coming in virtually everything we do. But they made a good attempt because for the first time, ethnicity did not play a role in galvanizing those youths. But ethnicity played a role in countering them. Now, the system raised a heavy hammer on them by you know, after the Lekki incident, they were systematically being hounded. But the youth should know that when you're trying to change a paradigm, it doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easy. You have to be resilient. It's unfortunate that it was hijacked at a point by hoodlums who broke into people's, destroy things and set things ablaze, you know. Now that was the bad name that was needed to give to tar the entire exercise, and now crush them. And they're on their own, and Nigerians are watching them go through those experiences. The youths, my advice to them is that you must find a way to take your destiny in your hands. It doesn't come easy anywhere in the world. Myanmar had a queue. People poured out in the streets. Military are threatening them. They are there. You have to be resilient. I'm an old man, so I couldn't say I will join them. But I will, whatever that will move this country forward, it will be better for all of us. This country has one of the greatest potentials. I've gone around the world. What I'm seeing in this country, if it's harnessed, if 10% of it is harnessed, the world will hear our names. But the system is being led by people who, most of the time, who don't have that zeal to bring people out of poverty.
Well, Barth, I heard you loud and clear. You said they need to be resolute and then take their destinies into their hands. And I think your piece of advice to them is well noted and taken. Well, that's a very, very good point to leave it. And my name is Kali Ikwe. I've been speaking with Barth Nwabueze, a public affairs analyst. And that will be the episode for our program, Violence Free World today. Same time next week promises even a better edition if you endeavor to be here. Until then, please remember to remain on the road to a violence-free Nigeria. Thank you again for watching.
No